I have objections to this. All right, so in this setup, the way we do it here, we are coupling rollout and deploy together. So the only way for us to roll out a feature is to make a change and deploy it. A benefit of that is that it is very, very simple. However, there are two problems with having this coupling, this hard coupling between deploy and rollout. The first one is team synchronization, and this is something that only happens once you have multiple teams working in your product. So let's say that while you are doing this, like your change, you want to change the default sort order, there's another team that is also working on, you know, whatever, and they are like, their feature is pretty big. It does quite a bit of things, and they are in the middle of the development process. And they are going to be ready on next week or like on Friday, and they have like a bunch of stuff on master that they aren't ready to release yet. But your thing, you want to get that out now, but due to the fact that the only way that you can roll features out is by deploying, means that their thing is going to be rolled out if you deploy. So this means that since these are coupled, it means that you are very tied to the other teams, which means that you are going to be, in order to roll, whenever you want to roll things out, you have to talk to other teams, which might be okay if you have one other team, even though they might delay you, like it's still not a lot of talking. But if you have like 10 teams, this coupling really quickly becomes incredibly hard to deal with. But that is if you have team synchronization. It really happens only like once your team grows bigger. The other problem though always happens, and that is double risk. So both of these things are risky. Deployment is risky. Lots of things can go wrong in a deployment, especially if you have a few manual steps in your deployment. Like it's not something that you want to do Friday evening, like just before leaving for the weekend. There are things that can go wrong. And the same thing goes for rollout. Like you can, might be that you have a bug in your feature and it breaks for some users, and you basically want to keep tabs on where this thing happened. Like you might just have there's a lot of things that you could have, a lot of mistakes that you could have made. So since both of these things are risky, you really don't want to have to do them at the same time. So a huge benefit with feature flags is that we can decouple these two. So we can first hide our feature behind a feature flag, then deploy it, and once deployment is okay, we can start rolling the feature out. All right, so let's implement this using LaunchDarkly. LaunchDarkly, darkly. I'm going to LaunchDarkly. I'll click here for start trial. Start the tutorial. Brilliant. Let's create a feature flag. We need a name for this feature flag, which is like the name of the functionality we are testing and rolling out. So let's call the playlist default sorting is added. That's a long one. Set up your application. Node.js is not right. JavaScript is right. Create a file called index.html. Next, add the following head to the head. And what? This is not 1994. We don't use script tags. What's it called? LD client. We want to use npm and webpack and stuff. Come on! Load! All right. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There. LD client JS. Thanks. All right. npm I LD client JS. Installing. Let's see, code, LD client, gonna initialize this. We want this on component did mount, I suppose. Let's do that. Yeah. LD client, that is probably what we're getting from the npm package. Copy pasting this one here. Import from blah 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 there. And this is the user. I think that this has to be an object with a key. So which is kind of like user IDs. Like we use this later in order to roll out to use the specific user. I think we're gonna touch a little bit on that later. But for now, we're just gonna hard code this ABC123. That's their user ID. This is our client ID. Oops. And with the LD client, let's have a look at that. I think we need to listen to the ready event. So let's do that. LD client on ready. We're going to do this on LaunchDarkly ready. Darkly ready. And we probably need to bind this because classes are a horrible thing. Let's declare that. And there we go. And we also need to, we need that accessible in the class. I think this is how you do it, variation. And then we grab the ID that we created earlier. What did we create? Like it's called this. This is what it's called, this. Pull the variation from that. For now, I'm just gonna console log this out. Hi, I got the variation. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, got it. We have now implemented listening for events or playlist default added in the production environment. So I think it wants me to actually run this and be able to start. It's starting. We're waiting for it. Come on. Boom. Okay, everything broke. LD client is not defined. No, that's because it's now a property on the class. Oh, come on. This is just a warning. We don't care about that. Hi, I got the variation undefined. Damn it! Why is it undefined? Did it work in the thing though? It worked in the thing. Great, you received an event from your flag. But why is it undefined? Visit your dashboard. Click. Let me find this. What does this look like? Oh, hang on. Like the targeting off. If targeting is off, serve false. It should serve false. I figured that this should be false. Let me actually try to turn targeting on. Oh, turn on. This is cool. Leave an optional comment. The thing is, like, LaunchDarkly told me that they want to push for, like, they're not really competing with other feature flagging systems. Their big competitor is people trying to build their own feature flagging system, which is what we built at Spotify. That took 2 years. It was just ludicrous, and it was like a team building it. Turns out that even though feature flagging systems are very simple in its essential, it's basically just a little database and then you storing things there and you're able to get things from the database. But there's a lot of nuance to it, such as this one. Turns out that you want to know when somebody has turned a feature flag on and turned it off. You kind of want to see the history of things. You kind of want to know if a feature flag is still being used from the code, all kinds of little things. So it's like a very simple, essential problem, and it just poof, explodes by all the little things that you want the system to do. So I turned it on initially because I felt like it. I'm turning it on now. There you go. Okay. Let's see, I'm gonna refresh React app. See if we get something. Hi, I got the variation on the file. Damn it! Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. Feature flags must be marked available to the client-side SDK. See your feature flag settings page. Ha 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 ha. La la la. Make this flag available to the client SDK. There we go. Save settings. Found it. Fresh. Hi, I got the variation. True. Oh, that was dodgy. It makes a lot of sense that that's not the default, I suppose, because you don't, you far from all your feature flags. That's something that you want to make available to the client. We also had a lot of problems at Spotify where people like analyzed the code and found feature flags that they weren't supposed to find and stuff like that. Like hints of features that would roll out or maybe not roll out ever. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense that that's the default, but a bit of a tricky trap. That's what I'm looking for. Either way, once we have this flag, I want to set this to the state. So do like this dot set state and the feature flags. And we want to set that thingy thing, and we want to like do this default sorting is added. We'll like pull that here and we'll put it there. So now it should load the flags, and I'm gonna check this in the React app. Check this out. Yes, default sorting is added. It's true. Right, now we have to use this. So first of all, I want to, if the feature flags are not loaded yet, I want to display a loading dialog. That's like a common thing that you run into when you start implementing feature flags. You find out that, okay, things that were synchronous are no longer synchronous. There's a configuration that needs to be loaded before my app is loaded. And that's fine, that's just the way we need to do. Like you can do a lot of cool things with LaunchDarkly, like bootstrap these things into the app to make the things load faster. But for now, we're gonna like keep them synchronous. LaunchDarkly is very, very fast anyway. And like even if let's say that you're loading your songs asynchronously, that's probably gonna take longer anyway. So boom, if this dot state feature flags, if they are not, then we just we're gonna return this here and call it loading. Return that. All right, sort order now here. This is a bit tricky because it no longer reflects. It's an oversimplification of reality, because sort order is kind of like now instead of being a state, it's now something that is inferred from partly the selected sort order in the interface and also the default sort order, which might also have been loaded or not yet. So I'm gonna change this thing to be selected sort order. Sort order. Also the selected sort order here. Now when it's selected, there is no such thing as the selected sort order being null, which is what we previously used for natural sorting. Now I'm gonna write natural here, otherwise things will get mad. So this one, all right. This is a bit messy. Let's just begin here. So if state dot feature flags dot default sorting is added. If that is true, then we're going to check if we have a selected sort order. If we don't have a selected sort order, no, this becomes weird. Selected sort order is what we check first. So if you have a selected sort order, then all is well. We're just gonna do this, I think. Hang on. We're just gonna do this, I think. We also need to make sorter here a variable. So if we have a, if there is a selected sort order, if the user has clicked that, and if that is added, then we're gonna do is newer. Otherwise, we're going to do sorter being undefined. I think that this ternary expression honestly is a bit hard to read. I think that it's better to just use an if statement. So if selected sorter is added, then sorter, we're gonna assign sorter to be is newer. Else if this the state sort order equals natural, then we're going to assign sorter to be undefined. This is a lot longer, but I think that just if statements are very simple and easy to follow, and sometimes it's just, in my opinion, better to just expand code to just be very simple and very clear. All right. However, if we don't have a selected sort order, then we're gonna fall back to the defaults. And the default depends on the feature flag. So if this dot feature flag dot this dot state dot feature flags, and then pull that default sorting out of there, then we are going to use sorter is going to be newer. Otherwise, it's going to be undefined, which is just not sorted at all. Down here, we're determining the state depending on the selected sort order, which, as we talked about before, like that that was previously sort order, which was a too simplistic view of the reality. Right now, we want to do the actual comparison of which sorter we're using. So if the sorter is undefined, then we're going to be using bold. And if the sorter is the is newer sorter, then we're going to be, we want to bold this one. So let's see if this works. Probably doesn't. Unexpected token. This what? First of all, this should be let. Okay, that was it. Cool. All right, cool. Now I think that everything is working as expected, honestly. So here, as you see now, natural is no longer the default. So if I refresh, we have time as default. So, and I can still change them. Now let's go back to LaunchDarkly and go to the feature flags. And default rule here is now true, but so the feature is rolled out. And let me just roll it back out, roll it back in. Let's save the changes over here. And now let's refresh. And now we're back to natural sorting as a default. So notice now that if this application had been deployed live, I would be able to roll the feature out and in at will. So deployment and rollout have now been decoupled. And this is good because it allows us to handle the risks of both of these separately. It's also good because it also allows the product owner to do the rollout separately from other teams, because these are no longer a couple. Like, we are no longer all tied into this deployment thingamabob. We can all deploy into master, and once we are ready, we can do the rollout like the exact minute that we want. And it actually also reduces risk in another way. It allows us to, if we have some error in our feature, we're able to roll it back in just a few seconds, rather than having to do a complete redeployment Jesus, I can't talk today, of deployment of our app. Okay, but we still have a problem here, a huge risk,